here. We'll start with the AL East, and then we'll kind of make our predictions on who's going to win this division and kind of how do you think, you don't have to go into each specific team and breaking it down, but kind of how do you think it's going to pan out and what's the final order of these 5 teams in this division? How do they finish, basically? So I personally have the Blue Jays winning this division. Yeah. Is there any argument? Do you third that, Blake?
Yes. Yeah, I got the Blue Jays to the top. That's for sure. They're going to be really fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is the year last year they figured out kind of who they were, and kind of figured out how the pieces all come together a little bit. It takes a season to kind of figure out how to win. And it's a talented division still. So you got to kind of piece that together. But if they can remain healthy, if Vladdy can stay healthy, Bichette, some of those stars can maintain their health, then they're the most talented team in the division, I think. And it's, even though the Yankees can go out and buy whoever they want, I mean, they're still the most talented team in a pretty loaded division overall. So.
Yeah, I think the concern with them is, how deep. I mean, the rotation looks good. Obviously, you expect Alex Manoah to take a big step. Barrios hopefully goes back to his original Twins form. We talked about how Gosman's one of the best starting pitchers in baseball, as an honorable mention on our list. Jin Ryu has been doing it for a long time. He's just consistent as ever. That 5th starter is kind of a concern, and I think their bullpen, Jordan Romano looks to be the closer, but I have more questions than answers about that bullpen. But I think, yes, 6 of their 9 players in their lineup are all quality guys at each of their positions. I think, you take away the bottom of the lineup with Danny Jensen's probably the projected catcher, Randall Grichuk is a DH, and Santiago Espinal is a rookie third baseman. That's the projected lineup as of now, but everybody else in that lineup, 1 through 6, just guys that are towards the top at their respective positions. So, a lot of power on that team. I think they do beat the Yankees out. I do have the Yankees finishing second, but just to Ben's point, that's because they can buy anyone, even if they feel like they're in contention. At the All-Star break, trade deadline, they're going to go find another player to try to make that run again. So,
yeah, I mean, I think the Yankees and Rays battle it out for second. The Red Sox, I don't really know what to think of the Red Sox this year. Sometimes these years they always kind of surprise, it seems, but just on paper, I just don't love that team right now. I love Devers and I love a couple of those guys, but they just don't really have, to me, they don't have the horses right now to keep up with the Blue Jays or even the Rays and the Yankees. It would warm my heart if the Yankees came in last in this division, but I still
don't see the Orioles giving that spot up.
Yeah, or at least even like 4th of those teams would be.
They could be 4th. I think they could be 4th. That's not out of the question.
Yeah. They get dinged up.
Yeah. Everybody hurt. No really bad injuries. You never, wish that on people, but just like some turned ankles or
Giancarlo and Judge are notorious, so.
Yeah, they'll get hurt at some point this year.
Yeah, I just kind of, you guys pretty set on, I think the Red Sox are still personally 4th, but that's just because I think the Rays, Isaac Paredes is going to be the difference maker. He's going to carry them all the way.
Not, but the Rays have the most pitching depth in the division.
Yeah,
Shane McClanahan, Patino, Shane Baz.
I was gonna say they get Baz up too, and then things are different.
He had surgery, but he's gonna make immediate impact as a rookie. They've got some studs. Wander Franco is a beast. Franco was a guy who could have made our list too. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the Rays seem to find a way to figure it out for some of these from a division standpoint. I would not be surprised. I mean, obviously we saw what they did a couple of years ago, making all the way to the World Series. So, it's a fun division. It's going to be fun to watch them. They're going to beat each other up.
I just realized the Rays also had Corey Kluber. So,
yeah. Well, he's also like 50, but that's okay.
I was going to say it. I just was looking at it now. It's like, oh, there he is.
Yeah. I didn't know he was. I didn't realize he was still in the league, but that's all right.
things change. Yeah, no, I mean, that's a really young team that's on the up for sure. I think it's going to take. I just that Austin Meadows was a key piece to that offense, but so they took a little bit of a step back. But Party said definitely has a bright future too, so that's not out of the question if they're thinking long term. But yeah, I think it's. I have Blue Jays, Yankees, Rays, Red Sox, and Orioles for the AL East.
Yeah, I think that's the order I have it. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets mixed up a little bit, but I have the Blue Jays number one though, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, then let's check out the AL Central from there, our personal division. Who's winning this one?
The White Sox.
Yeah,
Homer.
I got the White Sox, unfortunately.
I was just waiting to say that. I just scripted.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, no, it is going to be the White Sox this year too. The interesting things are going to be who's 2, 3, and 4. I think the Royals may be 5th, but that's even to me that's not set in stone. This division is going to be fighting it out for these middle spots for sure. But yeah, I think it's still the White Sox division to lose. How do you guys have it finishing out? What's the order 1 through 5?
So I actually think the Twins are going to come in second. I just like their lineup. If Byron Buxton can stay healthy, he's a dark horse MVP level guy. Carlos Correa, obviously, we talked about how good he is. Jorge Polanco had 33 home runs last year. Gary Sanchez adds pop to their lineup, even though he's horrendous behind the plate. And then, Miguel Sano is, he's probably due for a couple golden sombreros a week, but he might have a couple 2-homer games in a week too. So, a lot of power in that lineup. And I think they'll turn it around a little bit. They were just such a weird team last year. Their bullpen was so bad. I don't think you can be that bad again. I don't know if that's even possible. And they're a year removed from winning the division. So I think they have a chance to really battle there. So I'm going to put them number 2.
To me, they're the opposite of the Cleveland Guardians. Sorry, I'm trying to be PC.
Yeah, catch yourself.
Yeah, they have the offensive firepower, but like having a rotation of like O'Bear and Bundy and Dobnik, like that's
great.
I don't like that very much. And Taylor Rogers is about all that's good in that bullpen. I know they got Thielbar. Tyler Duffy isn't terrible either. But bullpens are still fluid in this league, so you really want to bank on this starting rotation. And I actually don't like the Twins rotation, even in comparison to the Tigers. I know the Tigers is still young and maybe there's a few question marks. I actually do have the Tigers finishing second in this division. And I actually have the Twins finishing 4th and the Guardians 3rd, but I think those could be interchangeable just because they're opposites. It's going to be depending on how this year shakes out. Is pitching rotation going to win you games, or is it going to be the offensive firepower? And, Twins got the firepower on offense, but they don't have the pitching, whereas the Guardians have the pitching. They don't have the offense outside of Jose Ramirez. So to me, the Tigers, just getting Austin Meadows even further solidified, already up and coming lineup. Some injury concerns like most teams going into the opening day already. It's surprisingly amount of injuries, but I like the starters 1 through 3 for the Tigers a hell of a lot more than I like, the Twins. And so I think that's kind of where I buy into the Tigers, trying to put all homer aside because they already, and I actually don't know if I expect a massive jump forward just because I think they way overachieved last year. I don't know how they did it because that lineup was but they did. So I expect maybe like 3 or 4 more wins than they had last year, which puts them just about right over 500, probably 82 and 80, maybe 83, 79. That's kind of what I'm expecting this year. And then I'm expecting a pretty big wild card run, if not division, by next year. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be much improved. Their biggest problem is they came out of the gates last year horrible, like bottom 3 team in baseball, horrible, like Pirates level bad. And then they closed the year great. So, what team are they? They're probably the team they really are is probably somewhere in the middle, like you said, maybe a slightly above 500 team. I know they have big aspirations. They're obviously going for it this year. That they wouldn't have signed Austin Meadows if they didn't think they had a chance to be pretty good this year. A lot of it's just going to come down to the health of those young starters too, and how much they're able to stretch them and let them go. Because I don't hate, 2 or 3 of the pieces in their bullpen, but if that bullpen gets taxed, we talked about it last week. If that bullpen gets taxed, they're not deep. Will be very interesting. I could see the Tigers finishing in second. I just don't know. I think some of these teams with a little bit more experience are gonna be slightly above them. So out of the Tigers at third right now, and it'll be a battle for third with Cleveland, in my opinion. So I think the White Sox could win 95 games, though, just with the division the way it is.
All right, break that tiebreaker, Blake. Who do you have in the AL Central as second and third and fourth?
Yeah, see, I have the Tigers second. I'm being hopeful here. I know the bullpen is definitely where I think they're going to struggle because they've got Fulmer at the back end. You got Soto. You got Chafin, who's already hurt.
And Cisnero just got put on the 60. So
yeah, Cisnero's hurt. So you got a bunch of, is Lang going to step up and finish out like he did last season? Hopefully. You got Jimenez, who you never know if the ball's going straight or left or right. It's scary to be behind the plate.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, I think it's going to be the bullpen. That's the tough part for them right now. Yeah, I think they can make it to 2. I think AJ Hinch has got the ship sailing in the right direction. So I've got 3 as the Twins, and then the Guardians, and then the Royals. So yeah, those are kind of interchangeable to me. And yeah, I think it's gonna be tough for the Tigers to do it, but I think they can do it.
I think the Tigers are a team that can really build on. They're a team that will build on their own success, but they're also probably a team that will. I could see this team being a team that could rip off 7 or 8 in a row, and then also lose 7, 8, 9 in a row. Just because it's kind of it's not deep, 1, so if they run into injury problems, that's when they could go into more of a tailspin. And 2, it just seemed like a team that can be very confident at times, and then also look like one of the worst teams you could see last year at times too. Part of
it's the epitome of Detroit sports right now, man.
It's true.
The Pistons do. It's what the Lions do.
Yeah, part of it's due to roster construction last year, and it certainly has improved, and that'll help. But it's still not deep, right? And but it'll get there. I mean, that's the whole point. The hope is that it'll get there. And I'm not a Tigers fan, but I do listen to a lot of Tigers stuff because I live in Michigan, and Hinch has it right. He's like, look, we just need to get back to a point where we're competing and in the playoffs consistently. He goes, look, I would love to win a World Series for Detroit, but a lot goes into winning a World Series, right? A lot goes into the best team all year doesn't always win the World Series. It's just not really how it works sometimes. It's, the hottest team at the end of the year usually ends up getting there, right? Sometimes the best team all year ends up being the hottest team, but it doesn't always work out that way. So, you need that depth to kind of carry you through a season to get to that point. And I just don't know if they're there yet. And I don't think even they think they're there yet, but I think they believe that they're in a spot where they can compete with every team they play. That was the whole point of last year, is to not just get ran off the field 100 times a year, right? Because that's where they were 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Mikey Ma took years. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they were just getting ran off the field, and that's just you have to go through that. The White Sox did it for 3 or 4 years in a row. I mean, you have to go through that and just suck. You have to stink for a few years to get it back to a point where you need it to be. So, and now the White Sox are in a window where they can probably make some runs here. So it's the Tigers are trying to get to that point, and I think they will. But I question the depth, and I question they're another injury away, especially in the bullpen, to where it's like danger zone probably, but depending on how bad it is, especially with Chafin already hurt, like I said, Cisnero.
Fulmer's seen his velocity go down too. That's concerning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just don't know. My worry is I love the starters for that team. I really do love the young starters. But how much, I mean, Mize and Scooball are not going to throw 200 innings.
I think you have to expect them to start throwing a lot more though, because they've been up for a while now. I don't know if you have to just, yeah, I don't, maybe not this year they're at 200 innings yet, but like next year they got to be at 200 innings. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, 200 innings is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I don't know. I could look up Mize's stats. But if you want, and that's why the Rodriguez signing was so big. But you know, how many innings has he really thrown ever in his life? Or the most innings he's ever thrown? Let's see. I don't even know. Let me pull it up. What did he throw last year? How many innings?
So I have Casey Mize, who went 7 and 9 and threw 150 innings.
Yeah. So 150 innings is the most. He's thrown 178.2 innings in his MLB career.
Scooball was at 149. So, I mean, they're kind of right where they.
So they're right where they were. And if they throw 150, 149 again, I mean, you probably need 175 to 185.
Yeah, I'd like to see him at 175 this year, but.
Right. So I don't know. They're just not deep enough right now. But you saw it last year. The White Sox won like 4 games last year, and they did it with 2 of their top 5 players injured. Actually, most of their top 5 players injured for at least a portion of the season last year because they had some organizational depth, and they were in a crappy division. But that does help. But I think they're a year away from really making a run.
Oh man, how about that AL West then? We talked about the Angels getting some firepower again this year, and hopefully they can keep building off what they already do have. But the Astros seem to be hanging at the top every single year in that West. Verlander's back this year. We'll see if he's healthy or if he's still feeling young and spry. I have the Astros winning this division still. How do you guys feel about that?
I think I don't think it's even close, in my opinion. I think they're easily the best team. The Mariners are kind of a dark horse here. I think they're going to be really fun to watch. Robbie Ray, obviously, he was kind of we'll see if it was an aberration last year, but I think he's always had the stuff. And then obviously the Angels, I think, can be right there. Their talent doesn't quite match the Astros, but I think Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout. I mean, 2 of the top probably 10 baseball players in the world. So they've got the ability to be right there. So
to me, this is I actually think more so the Rangers maybe better than the Mariners, but it's going to be a John Gray and Dane Dunning type of show because, again, they're pretty poor in the bullpen and their back end of the rotation is not great. But getting Simeon and Seager, Adolis Garcia, maybe and he's like a 29-year-old rookie, but maybe he keeps going off of that. Nathaniel Lowe is another big lefty hitter. Cole Calhoun can hit. Willie Calhoun
too. Is awesome. Their lineup is awesome.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot better than they were last year for sure. But I'm not against. I was looking at the Mariners lineup here, and right now they project J.P. Crawford, Haniger, France, Kyle Lewis, and Kelenic, which I don't mind that. But when you get Tom Murphy, Adam Frazier, Toro, and Fraley as the rest of your guys, it's not the same kind of lineup that the Rangers have. Robbie Ray is an ace for sure. Marco Gonzalez is a good lefty as well. And I think Logan Gilbert, I think he was a rookie last year, and he actually showed flashes to a bright future. Ken Giles is a reliable closer. There's pieces here, but I think it kind of goes back to what we all said in the beginning, where it's probably the Astros, and it's probably not even close. I mean, besides maybe the Angels, and I think the rest of these could be considered dark horses, but who's third? I think it's Astros, Angels, and then whoever.
Yeah.
What do you think, Blake?
Yeah, I got the same thing. I think I have high hopes for the Angels because I feel like there's been so many years where it's like they're gonna do it, and they never do it because nobody ever stays healthy. They don't seem to have any chemistry. It just doesn't go together. But I think this year they're You're gonna be on the outside looking in, and hopefully maybe make that wild card push.
Yeah, they don't have America cheering them on because they play at 10 p.m. every night. So
Well,
Yeah.
it would just be nice to see Mike Trout in playoffs. That's the whole thing. Like it really would for his
sanity.
legacy. Anyway, even like it'd be fun to see him play in the playoffs.
Let's go right to picking our ALCS while we're in the AL topic anyway. Who is your ALCS matchup right now?
Oh man. The CS, I will go White Sox. I don't know this.
I'll go White Sox Astros.
Yeah, I would go White Sox Astros. We'll go White Sox Astros up front. I think those are going to be the two best teams in the AL.
You don't think the Blue Jays have a chance?
I was going to say no. The Blue Jays have a chance, but I was going back and forth on Astro. All three of those teams. Like who's the one I want to leave out? I guess I kind of buckled down in the Blue Jays, but yeah, I don't like anyone in the Central as a wild card that could make a run. You know, if the Angels can make it, that would be kind of fun to see them kind of build some traction and go from there. But other than that, you're hoping on the Yankees. I never want to hope on the Yankees. So I think it's between those three teams: the White Sox, Astros, Blue Jays, and then maybe the Angels if they gain some steam. But yeah, I don't know. I have the Astros over the White Sox.
I think the White Sox will get revenge. I think they will if the pitching's healthy. I think they'll get revenge. I know it's a homer pick a little bit, but I think they'll get revenge.
It's all right.
The Astros, you know, they've already had their time, and they're cheaters.
They got to prove that they're not. They can do it without cheating.
Yeah, and Correa honestly dominated that series last year too. So
they didn't have Verlander though. This is the real deal.
Is Verlander like
He's
60?
back.
He's 60.
He'll be 61 by playoffs. Yeah.
Like how old is he now? Does he have grandkids yet?
I think he's 38 or something. But
yeah,
I think he's only a year older than Scherzer. If that says anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with that. I think we'll save the awards here for the end, but I at least wanted to get your ALCS pick. There. So let's go over to the NL. You know, let's start with the NL East. You know, Mets and Braves. You know, Phillies are not out of it either. So there's kind of a 3-team contender over there. I'm gonna pick the Mets.
I would love to pick the Mets, but no. They just always seem to just fail me.
That's true.
Every time I think they're good, they're going to fail me. DeGrom's hurt to start the year, so that puts them behind the 8 ball anyway.
But Scherzer, they'll just pick Scherzer back-to-back games.
No, I love the Mets lineup. I love the Mets team. They're just not going to get it done. So I'm actually going to go with the Fighting Phils here.
Wow. I
was taking the Braves.
Take. That's the hottest take so far.
No, it's a hot take, but that lineup is going to be scary. It's got a lot.
Yeah, Matt Vierling.
No, not him. Bryce Harper, Hoskins. They got some dudes. Okay.
Didi Gregorius. Yeah.
Didi's been a tough out most of the time. All right?
No, I mean I like what you're. Gene Segura, you know, Hoskins, Harper, JT Realmuto is probably one of the best catchers in the game.
Exactly.
You know, and Alec Boehm is expected to get better, so I don't hate that. And then Wheeler and Nola, I really like those two pitchers. I think my concern is the latter half of their bullpen. You know, Nebel is probably closing. Alvarado's a good setup guy. And Coonrod and Brogdon are also in that bullpen. So they did a little bit of work to their bullpen from what I remember from last year, getting even Sir Anthony Dominguez.
That guy's lights out.
Yeah.
Sir Anthony Dominguez is. You watch him throw. Yeah, you're like, holy cow. Has anybody touched this guy?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I like the hot take, though, with the Phillies. I just think there's another year priming some of those young hitters. Maybe getting another, you know, maybe Zach Eflin and Ranger Suarez, hopefully they see some improvements. And then maybe we can start talking about how the Phillies are. I like that, though. I like that this is kind of taking a little bit of a turn, though, Ben. Nicely done. Things were kind of just going steady. We were all in agreement, and then you decided to throw the Phillies in for the
Somebody
NL
had
East.
to do it.
Yeah. Who did you have, Blake, for the NL East?
I had the Braves. I think they're gonna come back. They're gonna do it again. They still got the pieces there. They can do it. I know they don't have Freddie, but I think they've got it. They'll be all right. They've still got the pieces. I know they got a little banged up with Kunis out, but
I do love that rotation. I think because even Tuki Toussaint's due for I think he's going to be a good pitcher, and right now they got him at the 5 hole. So Fried, Ian Anderson, Charlie Morton, Mike Soroka, and then you get Tuki Toussaint, and I think there's
Morton's out too.
Oh, Morton is out?
Yeah. Last I looked.
Oh, well, fine. Former Tiger Travis Demerit off the bench.
There you go. Nice.
Will Smith, though, is a good. He's really good at slapping. Slapping the bullpen.
Strikeouts.
Yeah, slapping strikeouts. That's what we'll say. So NL East, we are all different. So are we pretty much in consensus that the Marlins Nationals finished the bottom there?
Yes.
I can't believe Jorge Soler has to go get banished to the Marlins.
After Jeter leaves. He only went there for Jeter.
Right.
Yeah. We'll go to the Central. And Ben already talked about how the Cardinals always seem to be better than, they never get the recognition, but they always seem to put it together. I think this is one of those years where I do think they could put it together, but I think the Brewers pitching tandem is strong. I'm going to go with the Brewers to win this, but I think the Cardinals are going to be more impressive than people expect.
With you on Brewers.
I will go with the Brewers as well. The Cardinals are just going to be so old. I mean, they're getting Pujols, Molina, and Wainwright, and they're all 58 years old at the end of their careers. What are we doing? Come on, guys. This is a cool story.
They must have a terrible retirement plan. I don't know why they're hanging on so long. Yeah.
You'll sell some tickets early in the year and at the end of the year when everything's done. But come on, guys. No. Pujols is a shadow of his former self. Wainwright, I still love him on the mound, and Molina can still catch, but no. That's not, you can't build your team around 40-year-olds. It's not going to work.
Yankees have done it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I think the Pirates are probably last in baseball. I think right there with maybe the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, bottom of the NL for sure. But the Reds and Cubs are intriguing teams as well. So it wouldn't have surprised me if either one of you you guys, we all agree the Brewers win this division, but you guys have 2, 3, and 4.
I do have I actually have the Cardinals too. I know I just crapped on them, but I don't love the Reds. The Reds have obviously just kind of given up by selling most of their guys.
Yeah, they did.
The Cubs are intriguing because I think it's such a different team, and I think it's going to be such a different style than what they've been implementing the last few years. They got Marcus Stroman, which I love.
Hendricks and Miley too. Those are good pitchers.
Yeah, they got some good arms, but nobody blows you away on that team. I think they're just going to play. They're going to play teams tough. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up the second best team, but I still think the Cardinals will be. But I think the Brewers are going to win this division handily.
Let me take a look at that Cardinals line because we did talk about how old they are, but
they're old.
It's
good. But...
so Cardinals here. Okay, Goldschmidt, Arenado, even Dylan Carlson had a good year.
Yep.
Tyler O'Neill could be a key player. I think at the fourth, I see he has the 4th highest BABIP. Yeah, the BABIP.
Batting average on balls in play.
Nicely, thank you. Well, he hit 366 on that, which was 4th in baseball.
Which could also mean that his average was inflated, and he had a lot of good luck. Is what that could mean.
So BABIP is not a reliable stat.
Unless he's really fast, because there's guys that like Tim Anderson's BABIP is 4 something, And everybody's like, oh, he'll regress. And he's like, but I'm fast. So I hit infield singles.
Yeah. So like Ichiro.
Yeah, I'm sure he had a high BABIP in his prime.
What about one of the best names in baseball, Lars Nootbaar?
That's a person.
That's a person. He is their outfield bench guy. I have a note here that he swung at only 21.3% of pitches outside the strike zone last year, which is 21st best out of 463 players with at least 100 plate appearances.
Obviously, he wasn't good enough to start, so he's not very good. And his name's Lars Nootbaar.
Well, let me see what his numbers were according Lars Nootbaar.
There's no way
he was made up for the show.
This is is this a created player on MLB The Show? You just trying to
when they can't use Barry Bonds' name.
Yeah, exactly. Jon Snow or whatever that guy's name was.
Well, he's their fifth ranked prospect.
Fake.
So, yeah, right. You would think so. He had 239 last year and 109 at bats.
Nope.
5 home runs, 15 RBIs.
Nope.
So, not a whole lot of
not moving the needle for me.
Sample. Yeah, well, not a sample size. That's great. So, I'm not going to bank on Lars Nootbaar to help the Cardinals too much this year. But, I see the intrigue. It is a really old team, though. And I think another concern is their bullpen. Their closer is Giovanni Gallegos, who I would probably rank as bottom 5 closer in the league. So,
yeah.
I like Jordan Hicks though. So
Jordan Hicks is the fifth starter.
Yeah, I had him
written
now as a spot starter, but I'm sure
he's going to be their 5th starter to start the year. He's going to start their
So I had Wainwright, Flaherty, Matz, Mikolas, and Dakota Hudson.
I don't think they're starting either Mikolas or Hudson. Jordan Hicks is going to be their 5th starter. They announced it today.
Okay.
105 miles an hour coming out right away.
I want to see how long that lasts.
For about 3 innings.
Well, as long as it stays off Guitar Hero, it'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
We're moving boxes in California after a fire.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Let's close out the last division here with the NL West. Dodgers.
Yes, not even. I mean, come on.
I think this is the easiest one, especially with Fernando Tatis out the first 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, still could be a fun division. I mean, the Giants were awesome last year, obviously. The Padres have talent still.
But the Diamondbacks and Rockies are one of the worst in baseball. So, that's
right. I mean, the Dodgers can automatically beat the crap out of those 2 teams and put themselves in playoff contention by that, basically.
I do like the rotation for the Padres, though. You get Darvish, Blake Snell, Musgrove, and Clevenger.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. Or it's actually one of the best, if I had to be honest. Chris Paddock is in that bullpen with Pomeranz, Stammen, Emilio Pagan, and Robert Suarez. So they've got arms. But they're gonna have to rely heavily on Machado and Will Myers and Hosmer and Cronenworth, Trent Grisham. So I think this one's too easy. The Dodgers in a run away.
The Dodgers are the best team in baseball, best lineup, yeah.
Do you have the Giants second, or are you still going to get the Padres second?
I'm actually going to pick the Padres second. I think it's close. The Giants kind of came out of nowhere last year, though, and I don't know if they can catch lightning in a bottle 2 years in a row. They don't have the pure talent as the other 2 teams. So.
Yeah, other than Belt and Yastrzemski, I mean, you like to think, Evan Longoria is, but I think he's way out of his prime.
Yep.
La Stella is not a bad leadoff hitter, though. So I don't like it. Desclafani is fine. Logan Webb.
Webb was great last year.
Yeah, Alex Wood. So they've got some guys. I think that's not going to be enough to keep up with the rotation of the Padres. So I'm going to have Padres 2, Dodgers 1, Giants 3, and add who the crap cares at 4 and 5.
Yeah, that works. That's fine. Again, they're going to beat up. I mean, the Rockies are the most poorly run organization in professional sports, and the Diamondbacks are a close second. So,
NLCS. Then what's your prediction?
Dodgers, Brewers.
I concur.
Dodgers, Brewers. See, that's tempting. I think the Braves are going to make another run. So, and I have them as the wild card. So I have the Mets winning the division, and I'm going to have the Braves win just off the premise that Mets always seem to get there, and then what?
Stink.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm going to go Dodgers over Braves. So I have a Dodgers Astros World Series. How about you?
Well, I already said that the White Sox were going to get revenge, so I'll have Dodgers White Sox.
Yeah, I have Dodgers White Sox as well.
Okay. How many games? I'm going to go Dodgers over the Astros in 5.
I will go Dodgers or the White Sox in 6.
Oh man, I had the White Sox in 6.
Love it.
Ben's already a fan of you, Blake. Holy cow.
Yeah, even though
That's-
I really
that's like,
don't
that's my
like
guy.
it, I'm not a White Sox guy at all. I just think they've got a really good team, and they're gonna.
It's a trendy pick. A lot of people are picking them. It's a trendy pick.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be trendy. I just think watching them year after year beat up on the Tigers, I think they're gonna put it together finally.
Yep. I think healthy they can play with anybody. But they're not even healthy right now. So it's just one of those things where you get frustrated when people get hurt their start before spring training ends.